Everyone say to speak from day one, but here what they don't tell you. Speaking without phonetic accuracy is just practicing your mistakes at full speed. Have you ever been in this situation? You try to speak in a foreign language and in front of you, you don't get understood. And you repeat the same word again and again, slowly, but this is not working. Yes, your pronunciation is bad, and you say to yourself, that's my accent, I can do nothing about it. No! If I tell you there is a method to sound like a native speaker, would you believe me? Do you want to get understood by anyone or even surprise people? Native accent is not a talent, it's just a repetition technique that many learners never discover. Well, in this video I'm going to introduce you a phonetic training method that, if practiced well, you will sound like a native speaker after a few months of practice. Why people have a bad accent? Well, I'm sure that you already have ever heard a French person speaking English without working on its pronunciation. And when a French person speaks English, it will sound like hi, my name is Jeremy. I'm recording actually a YouTube video on phonetic training, and maybe, as you can see, I'm making nearly no effort in order to speak very good English. And why most French people, when speaking English, have a very bad pronunciation? First, you have a lot of sound differences. For example, in English, you have words like that, this, tooth, and putting the tongue between the teeth is not a sound that we produce in the French language. And so if you want to pronounce well these kind of words, you have to actively train in order to practice well the words. Most French learners, when speaking English, don't make any efforts in order to do so, and so we end up with words like this is my name instead of this is my name. And so most people have a very bad accent or very bad pronunciation because they never worked on that. So I can recommend you to actively work on your pronunciation for two main reasons. The first one, you will get understood very easily with the people you're going to speak with. And the second reason, you will sound like an adult speaking and not like a baby. When should you work on your pronunciation? The best moment to start working on your pronunciation is at the beginner phase. You don't know anything about the language, and if you build a good habit on your pronunciation, this will skyrocket your efforts and your abilities later on. And I can also highly recommend you to put a strong focus on the sounds that are unfamiliar for you on the target language you study. If you work actively on your pronunciation, you are going to get understood very easily by other people, and definitely pronunciation is the most important things to focus on rather than grammar or vocabulary. You can use a wrong grammar rule or the wrong vocabulary, but if you have a good pronunciation, this will help you a lot when you will start speaking. You should know also that if you have bad pronunciation habits, you literally train your brain to produce a very wrong sounds. And so this will be very hard to change later on. Also, you cannot produce sounds that you cannot hear. And this is why phonetic training is so critical, because if you have a bad pronunciation, you're not going to fix it by immersion alone. So what is phonetic training? It is a method composed of 4 main steps. The first one consists of isolating the sounds you want to practice. Actually, you're going to take an audio file and you're going to isolate the sounds or phrases you want to study. After, you are going to repeat the sounds and also self-record. By doing that, you will practice the sound maybe at the beginning in a slow manner and then at full speed. And then you are going to practice comparative feedback. It just consists of you listening to your own voice and see if you match the native model. And finally, you are going to correct yourself. You are going to hear some gaps between your record and also the native models. And maybe you will need to adjust your tongue position, your lip shape, or even your pitch. Also, by actively working on these specific methods, you are going to train your ear, and you will be able at the end to recognize specific sounds much quicker than before, and also you will recognize sounds that you were not able to perceive at the beginning of this practice. Okay, so now I'm going to show you on my screen directly how to make the exercise of phonetic training. So here I have a file that I downloaded from YouTube using a YouTube downloading program that appears on the screen right now. I'm going to put the link in the description in order for you to be able to use it. If you have any question on this software, don't hesitate to ask me. Also, you will need a program like Audacity in order to manage the audio file, like to select the piece of content you want and to repeat it. We're going to do that together right now. So once you open Audacity, you just need to put the file like that into the software and wait until it has been downloaded. Okay, so once the file has been uploaded into Audacity, first you can remove one of the track because we don't need both track, just one is okay. And then you are going to select a piece of content where you can understand maybe 50% of the content. Also a part that is a bit challenging for you, that it's difficult without studying to actually very well match what you're going to listen. Okay, so I choose like a moment that I'm going to select.
같은 학년인데 예의를 갖추고 싶을 때.
So this is around like 3 seconds. It's, I think, more interesting to have a piece of content of like 3 to 5 seconds maximum, otherwise it's going to be too long and too difficult. So I select the piece of content I want. I copy paste in another track my content. Then I can remove the other one. And what I'm going to do here is just to copy paste the content in order to repeat it a few times. The best thing is to repeat so that the average length of the new track is around 2 minutes. And also just maybe put just 1 second of clearness between the two samples.
같은 학년인데.
Okay, perfect. And now what I'm going to do is just repeat this pattern again and again in order to build my track. Okay, so now I have 2 minutes of the file that, as you can see, I repeated. And now what I'm going to do first is to just grab each sound of the sample.
같은 학년인데.
같은 학년인데. 같은 학년인데. 같은 학년인데. 예의를. 같은 학년인데 예의를.
주고 싶을 때.
같은 학년인데 예의를 갖고 싶은 때. 같은 학년인데 예의를
주고 싶을 때.
So you're going to do that several times in order to have the rhythm. So after this first exercise, what you're going to do is to create a new track and to use it in order to record your voice. So the best thing is to have like a headphone with a micro like me. Here I'm not going to use this micro because I have this micro. So if you are well equipped, you can use a micro that you plugged in your laptop as well. And then you are going to repeat at the same time the sample. And that's why this is going to be important to have the sample repeated a lot of time. And this is what I'm going to do right now. 같은 학년인데 예의를 갖추고 싶을 때. 같은 학년인데 예의를 갖추고 싶을 때. 같은 학년인데 예의를 갖추고 싶을 때. So the idea is to do that a lot of time, and then you can mute the first track and listen to your own voice.
천안역인데 예의를 갖추고 싶을 때 천안역인데 예의를 갖추고 싶을 때
So here we can see that I didn't catch the rhythm at all, so I need to practice a little bit more. So this is what I'm going to do, and then I'm going to show you the difference between before and after. So when you listen after, by muting the first track, normally this is going to be better.
같은 안역인데 예의를 갖추고 싶을 때 같은 안역인데 예의를 갖추고 싶을 때 같은 안역인데 예의를 갖추고 싶을 때 같은 안역인데 예의를 갖추고 싶을 때
Okay, so it's not quite perfect, but it's definitely better than before. And I think the main thing is at the beginning where I'm not quite perfect on the native audio.
같은 학년인데
같은 안녕인데 같은 안녕인데 같은 안녕인데
같은 학년인데
같은 안녕인데. Okay, so you can repeat and to see where are the problem on your audio and try to have the feedback from the native audio and then do the exercise again and again. So this is the first exercise that you can do after having like grasp the different sound of the audio. And the other one is going to listen and repeat, but not at the same time. So actually you start recording and you don't speak when the audio is on, and then it's your turn and you mute the first track. So it is going to be something like that.
같은 학년인데 예의를 갖추고 싶을 때
같은 안녕인데 예의를 갖추고 싶을 때
같은 학년인데 예의를 갖추고 싶을 때
같은 안녕인데 예의를 갖추고 싶을 때
같은
안녕인데
학년인데
예의를 갖추고 싶을 때 같은 안녕인데 예의를 갖추고 싶을 때. And then you can listen to your own voice and see if you match the pattern of the native audio.
같은 안역인데 예의를 갖추고 싶을 때
Okay, it's not bad actually. And if I continue to listen.
같은 안역인데 예의를 갖추고 싶을 때
Okay, so it's still at the beginning that I need to practice a little bit. But the idea of phonetic training is mainly this kind of practice. And if you keep doing this exercise again and again, maybe each day or at least a few times a week, in a few months, you are going to develop your ability to perfectly hear the sounds and as well as develop a very good pronunciation. In order to have all the benefits of this practice, I highly recommend you to repeat this exercise quite a lot of time. Repetition and frequency are really the key in order to master your pronunciation. Also vary your sources and subject, because the more you're going to hear different sources, the more you are going to have a wide range of sounds. Finally, phonetic training is definitely an exercise you should do and master before trying to speak. You will have a very good base in order to properly speaking and being well understood by native speaker or foreigner in your target language. If you like this video, please give me a like, subscribe or post a comment, and I see you in another video. Bye.